afternoon to you, and thank you very much for logging on to Great Television. You're watching G News in Brief with me, Jeremiah. Before we give you the details of today's G News in Brief and look at the headlines. Chinese-made condoms too small, Zimbabwe's health minister complains. Africa set to miss UN development goal on malnutrition. Move to ban South Africa's apartheid-era flag. And in our fourth story, we look at alarming revelations of rape cases in Sudan. And Pyeongchang in South Korea, Akwesi Frimpong already eyeing 2022. On today's G News, in our first story, a Chinese condom manufacturer says it is considering making its product in different sizes after Zimbabwe's health minister complained that contraceptives made in China and exported to African nations were too small for its men. Health Minister David made the comment at an event in the capital, Harare, last week to promote HIV/AIDS prevention, according to the website newzimbabwe.com. The Southern Africa region has the highest incidence of HIV, and we are promoting the use of condoms, said the Health Minister David. He said this by quoting this particular statement in an event in Harare. In our second story, Africa set to miss UN development goal on malnutrition. Exceptionally detailed maps of child growth and education across Africa suggest that no single country is set to end childhood malnutrition by 2030. That target was set by the UN as a sustainable development goal. However, the new maps, which gave detail to the level of an individual village, show that almost every nation has at least one region where children's health is improving. They are published in Nature, and the two studies have mapped child growth rates and educational attainment for women of reproductive age, tracking progress in 51 countries between 2000 and 2015. The scientists targeted these two factors because they are important predictors of child's mortality. In our third story, we look at a move to ban South Africa's apartheid-era flag. The Nelson Mandela Foundation has asked the courts to ban gratuitous displays of the apartheid-era South African flag. The foundation argues public displays of the flag amount to hate speech, unfair discrimination, and also harassment. The flag, it's added, was a celebration of the crime against humanity committed by the white minority regime against millions of South Africans.
Some new changes in the law, the system itself. So the new flag actually symbolizes the new beginning of South Africa. If people are actually still using the last flag, it means that they are not willing to change, and it actually means that they have not accepted the terms of democracy itself.
I'm okay with it because at the end of the day, it's everybody's choice, you know. We're entitled to our own opinions and choices, so I'm not against it.
There is a new flag, meaning if there are some people who are still using the flag that was used in the apartheid, they don't want to move forward with us.
They keep saying we're born free, but like, we're not really born free if people are still going to keep using their old flag and we're not using the new flag.
Always is a choice, whoever wants to, whatever he enjoys, what he want to have. Political-wise, whatever. It's his choice.
All right, and those are some of the views.
In our latest news in Burkina Faso, we've been told that Burkina Faso sees gunfire and explosion. Gunfire and an explosion have been heard near the army headquarters and the French embassy in the capital of Burkina Faso, Ouagadougou. In Sudan, alarming revelation of rape Khartoum, a United Nations envoy, has expressed shock at the prevalence of sexual violence in Sudan, where government and religious leaders are complicit. Pramila Patten, Special Representative of the UN Secretary General of Sexual Violence in Conflict, expressed outrage of the culture of denial, which enhanced the culture of silence about sexual violence. Speaking in New York at her just concluded visit, she blamed senior government officials, legislators, and civil society representatives as well for the trend most widespread in Darfur region. Patton said, unlike victims of other crimes where perpetrators were condemned, it was usually the victims of sexual violence who were shamed or stigmatized. In our final story, Pyongyang in South Korea just ended the Olympic Games. Akwesi Frimpong already eyeing 2022. Akwesi Frimpong hopes his historic making run in the men's skeleton will inspire those in warm countries after he became the first Ghanaian to take part in this event at the 2018 Winter Olympics. Frimpong, who was Ghana's flag bearer in the opening ceremony, finished last in the skeleton here at the Pinchia Sliding Center with his good Jamaican friend Anthony Watson's one place higher. He came to Pyongyang with low expectations, having attended his first skeleton trial in November 2016. But he was pleased with his performance and hopes it will resonate back in Ghana. Well, before we take a leave of you, a recap of today's main headlines on G News in brief. Chinese made condoms too small for Zimbabwe's. That's what was said by the health minister as a complaint. Africa set to miss UN development goal on malnutrition. And a move to ban South Africa's apartheid era flag. And alarming revelations of rape. And in our final story, Pyongyang in South Korea, they just ended the Olympics. Akwesi Frimpong already eyeing 2022 to emerge the winner. Well, thank you very much for watching today's episode of G News in Brief with me, Jeremiah. Same time on Monday, we'll come here with another edition of G News in Brief. But don't forget that tomorrow, Saturday, we'll be doing it all over again, what we call the Week in Review, and we'll recap whatever has taken place and is making news across the continent live on this network, GTV or Great Television. Thank you for watching. Have a great weekend. We'll see you again next week. Thank you.